So I'm getting ready to fish my wire through. Here's my zip tie. I cut off the other end so I can feed it through. When you tape the wire, make sure you cover the end of it so that it doesn't catch on the wire loom when you feed it through. And then typically, let's see here. Sorry, I'm trying to catch it so you can see what's going on here. Hopefully this works. So the wire loom, you can actually pull out. You just push into it on the lip, and it should come free. Just like that. And then the other side as well. Sometimes it's hard to get your hand in here, so what you can do, use a tool like this or a flat blade screwdriver, just kind of work it in there and it will pop out too. And you can see that this lip is where it basically catches into the frame on each side, just like that. So the other thing I have is a can of, lubrication. Just gonna spray this down real quick. Doesn't have to be like all of it, just a little bit, just to get it started. So I got about that much of it wet. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're just gonna get it through the bottom side here, and you can already see it's going straight through into the loom. Hopefully you can see it. And just having the loom pulled out makes it a lot easier to feed through. So we get up. Hopefully the zip tie will make its way through the loom. Sometimes you gotta wiggle it back and forth a little bit just to get around the other wires that's already in there. Let's see if I can feel the wire or not. So having problems with this, unfortunately. Guess the zip tie isn't wanting to stay straight. We'll just keep on working at it. Sometimes you can feel the zip tie catching on the rubber there. Alright, finally see the zip tie. Alright, so sorry, my neighbors are loud, but you can see the zip tie has finally made it through. Just be patient with it. Don't yank it. If you do, the tape might come off and then you have to start all over again. So just be patient. Feed the wire through here first, just to get it started. There we go. All right. And then at this point, because we have enough space, we're just going to feed the zip tie through again. And then you can see, hopefully, it coming through. Alright. So then we're gonna push the wire loom back inside of the door and the frame, so we don't get our new wires cut up. So on the driver's side, I actually, because I had so many wires going through the driver's side, I had to feed a second zip tie through and then take my original zip tie off and then tape my wire to the zip tie going through the body and then pull it through. But I had less wires on the driver's side or passenger side here, so I didn't have to do that. So started running the wiring for my Puddle lights. Forgive the mess back here. I've got sound system and a Viper alarm, so a lot of wires. Yours may not be this thick, but what I had to do here, if you pull the grommet out of the door and then of the other side, it might be a little bit easier to fit a zip tie through. And the reason why I'm doing that is that I've got my wire taped to the zip tie, and then I'm gonna pull the zip tie up through here, and then I'll tape it off again to this other zip tie that I've got fed through the hole, and that way it'll keep it inside the rubber loom here. And then you can see the rest of the wiring I've got just hanging out here for now. So as you can see, I pulled it all the way through. Other thing to remember, if you're having problems getting the zip tie through the rubber part, spray it down with some lubricant like WD-40, and that will help it a lot to feed against the wires and the rubber. And now the next step will be to getting this part, this wire taped to this one, and then it'll be easy to pull through that side. So this is where I tapped for the negative trigger for the passenger side. You could actually do it for both. I know there's not a lot of room in there, so you would basically tap one wire for your driver's side, and then a little bit further down the wire, you just tap into the same wire for your passenger side. So on my 2014, the dome light is a blue wire, which is the negative trigger wire, or negative voltage wire. So you'll need these taps. Make sure they're sized for, I think this is a 18 to 22 gauge tap. You know, obviously the wires match the gauge, and then you're going to run it down through the opening here, and then you can see this is the wire that I just ran. And if you actually look up into here, you'll be able to see daylight up at the top. So should be pretty easy to run through. And then you run it across, and then down through here, and then you'll want to take off the cup holder and the tray and run it across to the other side, and then straight to the wire for your harness there. So most likely you'll do this in reverse, because you'll feed the wire through that way and then string it up across and then up through here, unless you do what I did, which is to put in the tap first, run a second wire, and then I soldered the ends together. But you can, you know, use quick connects or whatever instead of soldering. It'll work the same. And then for the power, like I said again, you know, I've got extra 12 volts going into my truck. You'll want to run something if you don't want to tap into the fuse box, like I said earlier. And so now I just got to button everything up, and that should be it. So half my wiring is already done because I already have a 12 volt source direct from my battery, which is fused and then plugs into a cigarette lighter down here. I was using it to use a solar charger. Anyways, other people, they tap into the fuse box here for constant 12 volts. I did something similar for my relay setup, but I believe, hopefully you can see, these two fuses are available as constant 12 volts too. and those should correlate to the power 15 or the door lock 20 amp. So you can use either of those to tap into for your lights.